Have you been a game collector for a very long time, or are you just starting to collect? In this video, I'm going to tell you a bunch of tips that should help you in your game collection out. Before we really get into the tips, I do want to say there's probably going to be some very obvious tips here, and then some more complex ones. So if you see a obvious one, maybe comment down below and type something out to help someone else. But with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about the very first tip that I have, which is knowing what you are looking for. If you just go out and go game hunting and don't really know what kind of systems you're looking for or what kind of games you like to play, it's just kind of gonna become a waste of time. Figure out what you're interested in and then make sure you kind of build your knowledge around that. If you know you are looking for NES games, you might not find those at Goodwill very often, but you might find them at the flea markets or pawn shops. So make sure you kind of settle where you need to, because that will definitely help you. But on the flip side, if you're looking for Wii games, you're going to find a bunch of those at your Goodwill or thrift stores, which is totally awesome, and I suggest you check that out. So the first thing you have to do is know what you are looking for, whether it's a console, whether it's a game, or whether it's a console generation. Whatever you are looking for, make sure you know it, because if you just kind of go out there without any knowledge or just confused, you'll probably fail and it just won't be good for you. And so you gotta start off right with that nice foundation that will help build your game collection, and that's knowledge, which means you should know what you're looking for if you're going out there looking. Now that you know exactly what you're looking for, I want you to make sure you know game prices, because this is one thing that is absolutely crazy, and I see this too often where game prices are not what they should be, or maybe they're too high, or something shady is going on. There's actually a local game store in my area, and I think this is kind of like a regional chain, that you'll get the game, you'll go to the counter, and when they ring it up, the price might not be actually what's on the game. Oftentimes, it's more expensive. So you do not want to get caught in that kind of situation without knowing how much a game is worth. And on the flip side, if you're out maybe at a garage sale or at a flea market and you see a game that you want that you know is worth $25 and they want to sell it to you for $40, you're going to pass on it. But if they sell it for you for $5, that's totally well worth it. And you want to kind of scoop up on those deals. So that's one reason I always tend to talk about game prices, and I use game pricing from pricecharting.com and eBay sold listings, so you want to make sure you're looking wherever it is. There's a few other places you could look as well, but those are the two that I use regularly. But those will really help you see how much other people are willing to pay for that game. So if you stumble upon a game for 20 bucks, and it's worth 20, you might pick it up, you might not, depending on the condition and everything like that. But you got to know what the game prices are, because that's where you're going to either succeed or fail. If you don't know how much to pay for a game, guaranteed at one point you will overspend, and that's just not fun, because if you can save $5 here and $10 there, eventually that'll get you more games and more things you can pick up. So make sure, if you're gonna go out game hunting and you already know what you're looking for, that you know the prices, because that will make a world of a difference when it comes to game collecting. The next thing we've got to talk about is consistency, because being consistent can make or break a deal. If you are consistently going out to, say, the flea market and you see someone who has a game that they always are selling games or something like that, you can kind of be consistent enough to where you kind of are nice to them, you can kind of get deals from them, and that can really pay off in the long term. Or if you're going to thrift stores and you're going game hunting, you want to make sure you're there when the games are, because games tend to sell pretty quickly nowadays from thrift stores and Goodwills. So make sure you kind of know when the games are restocked. Maybe you don't know, but if you're consistent and can go maybe once a week or twice a week or whatever it is for that situation that will help you find stuff, that's absolutely amazing, because like I said, with the flea market, you could go consistently every weekend and you will find games. Whether they're not for you or for flipping, that's a different story. But if you go to thrift stores and you go there consistently, if games are showing up in those thrift stores, you'll probably stumble upon them at some point. Now, I'm not saying you will find them absolutely every time, because that would be a big failure on your part if you expected that. But if you are consistent enough, you will find games. I always see people online saying, well, I never find games at Goodwill. And I consistently go to Goodwill, and occasionally I'll find games, but occasionally I won't. And so you kind of got to roll the dice there. Some days you're lucky, some days you're not. But consistently is key, because if you're there when the game is, you're going to be able to at least have that chance to buy it. If you're not there, you won't ever have that chance. If you are consistently going game hunting and you know what you're looking for and you know what game prices are worth, you'll be able to kind of do this next tip. And that's actually buying games to flip. And a lot of people can get mad about me saying this, but that's actually how I fund the game collection, is I find games that I know are worth more money. I'm not overcharging. I'm finding the fair market value and selling those games for it. That's how I started the $20 game collection. And that is a great way to be able to afford games, basically, because everybody wants to be able to afford games. But if you find an extra $5 here and there, that can really add up as well. So not only could you be saving money when you know the game prices and make deals, but you can also pick up games that will make you the money to be able to buy more games or buy more expensive games, however you're looking into it. But that's something that I feel like is kind of necessity when it comes to game collecting nowadays. Too many people hate on reselling games, and I understand it. People marking up the prices are insane, and I hate when that happens. But if you find a game for $4 that's worth $20 and you sell it for $20, I don't have a problem with that. You're keeping up with the fair market price. You're not overcharging. And I think that benefits both whoever found the game and whoever bought the game, because they get what they want. And the other person who found it gets a little bit of extra money so they can buy more games. So if you are going game hunting, you might as well know what everything is worth, because that can make you some good money to fund that game collection. Last but definitely not least is enjoy yourself. If you're buying games that you will never play and they're just gonna sit on your shelf, it's just not even worth it. If you're buying them just to say you have them, don't do that. Unless, of course, you're into collecting solely for that, and then do that if you enjoy it. But do it and buy games that you're going to enjoy. If you find a game that you know you will never play, pass on it. Don't pick it up and spend that extra money towards a game that you're going to buy. Now, I'm not going to lie. There are games on the shelf that I've played before, but I have no intention of playing them again. And that's probably because they came in a bundle or something along that line. But the games that I have that I've spent a good amount of money on, I intend to either play or I have played them. And a lot of people just think, oh, it's just a shelf. You don't ever play your games. Play your games, people. Enjoy them. Enjoy yourself. Make sure you are having fun. If you are having fun going out and buying them and then reselling them, that's awesome. If you're buying the games to enjoy them, that's cool too. If you collect just to collect, just because you're nostalgic for the games, that's totally awesome. But man, whatever you do, make sure you enjoy yourself, because that's really all this is about. And I know this is one that a lot of people wouldn't just say. They wouldn't say this is a tip, but if you're not enjoying it, it's just not worth it. So make sure, if you're collecting or going game hunting or anything like that, make sure you're finding things you enjoy. Pick up what you want to play, and maybe don't pick up things that you'll never pay. But on the flip side, if you're picking up stuff to flip, you can flip that stuff and then buy something you want as well. So keep that in mind. Make sure you have fun no matter what happens. I hope you guys really enjoyed this. Go ahead and check out that video right up there and go game hunting. Have some fun. Make sure you know what you're looking for, know the prices and everything like that, and you'll have an awesome time. So with that being said, I'm going to get out of here. Check that video out. Peace.